What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another round wrap up. You know how it is. Now this is coming out on a Tuesday because obviously the Crows and the Saints played today, Monday. So yeah, we're just gonna go through the round quickly, and yeah, what a round, what a long round. Sorry, I'm just doing something, so I'm just kind of take up time. Anyway, yeah, let's begin. The first game was on Thursday night between the Cats and the Pies. The Pies, my team, winning by 22 points. Yeah, it was pretty much the Pies from the get-go. All the pressure was brought from the Pies, which has been there to see in the past 2 weeks, especially after their loss to the Dons. The Dons absolutely brought the pressure to the Magpies midfield. So the Pies have learnt from that and they've switched it around in the last 2 weeks now. DeGoey was an absolute star, kicking 5 goals. The Cats had their chances at coming back, but it was mostly the Pies for the majority of the game. And yeah, DeGoey coming up clutch in the last quarter with 2 goals in a row when needed. But he'll be out for a couple of weeks, possibly the whole season, and maybe at this stage he might miss finals if the Pies do make it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, it was Collingwood taking this one out by 22 points. Did what they needed to do. That's 2 in a row, and it's a big game against the Eagles this week. I'll be streaming it, so don't miss out. On Friday night, we had the game between the Dons and the Dogs, and in my video I did tip the Dons, but then in real life I changed it to the Dogs on the day of. I just had a feeling, and a lot of other people did as well, so I went with the others, and it came out good for me. The Dogs coming up winners by 42 points. Yeah, they just had more control of the ball than the Dons did. The Dons just looked sloppy, and it's such a cliche to say a team doesn't play well without one player, and it's just seemed to be what happened on this night. Without Dylan Shield, the Bombers look lost on this night. There was, in the first couple of minutes the Dons took on, they looked really good. They were looking like the team from last week, fast pace, fierce at the ball. But yeah, pretty much it was the Dogs who absolutely controlled the Dons for the majority of the game, and the Dogs are starting to become the Bombers, a team that the Dons find hard to beat pretty much. So yeah, the Dogs came out this one 42-point winners over the Bombers. They just played a great game, did the Bulldogs. Great game. Next we move on to the Saturday games between the Giants and the Lions. It's the first one. The Lions came out winners by 20 points. It was an absolute cracking game. I got to watch this one live with you guys, so you guys also know that it was a cracking game. Yeah, the Giants not really doing well against good teams. The Lions coming back from last week's loss to the Cats. They played great football, and props to Chris Fagan. He came in with an unchanged lineup and it worked dividends for him. And yeah, they came out 20-point winners over the Giants. The Giants, well, they're in a confusing boat at this stage. Some weeks they look very good, and some weeks they're just not doing very good at all. And it's been 2 weeks in a row against 2 quality opposition not at their home ground, but this one was, but at neutral grounds per se, and they haven't come out on top. They've come close to, but they haven't come out on top like they used to do. So the Lions looking pretty good in 3rd place. They played a great brand of football in this match. It was sort of a game where the Giants were just scraping back in, but the Lions had pretty much all the control in this game, and they came out on top with a 20-point win over the Giants. The Suns played the Swans next, and I'm pretty sure we all saw this coming. Well, most of us did. Isaac Rankin show. I mean, the commentary for Isaac Rankin can go down a little bit now. Like, Jesus Christ, I don't want to hear his name every time the ball gets thrown up in the air or it comes in from a boundary throw up. But he was a star on this day, kicking 2 snags. He's just one of those guys that when he's around the ball, you think something's going to happen here. It generally does. Kicked 2 great goals. The first one, just instincts, I guess. He's a great forward player, it looks to be. And the second one, well, he just roved it brilliantly. He saw where the ball was going. He got the quick handball out, slotted it from about 35 meters out on a slight angle, not too much in it. But yeah, it was pretty much the Suns on this day, getting back from their loss, showing their strength against pretty injured Swan side. And that's what I said in my tipping video. The Swans have so many injuries that I don't think they would beat the Suns, and it came to light, as you can see. And yeah, the Suns played a really good brand of footy on this day. It's good to see, responding to 2 losses in a row now. And yeah, 32-point winners over the Swans. Next, we had the game between the Tigers and the Roos, and we also saw this coming. Tigers absolutely dominated this game, and there was even more injury concerns for the Roos before the game. What's his face? Cam Zerha. Oh my God, he got injured before the game. He did a calf before the game. Siebel came back into the club. He did his hamstring that he was out for the weeks prior. So North's midfield was just running low. They got a concussion to one of their new players. I mean, it's just a terrible year for North Melbourne right now, and the Tigers, well, they're sort of just getting their momentum back, and I said this as well. I felt like this was going to be a game where the Tigers could really find some good momentum and start getting their mojo back, and it generally happens in most years when a team's sort of not playing their best brand of footy. They can come up against a team that's playing a really bad brand of footy, and they can start rebuilding. They can start finding their mojo, and yeah, that's pretty much what the Tigers have done here. They've come out 54-point winners over the Roos, and it's just another week of frustration for North Melbourne, and I don't know what they're going to do next week. They have Carlton, and it's just going to be a tough year for North Melbourne. They'll win some games, but right now they are struggling a lot. We move on to Carlton versus Port Adelaide, and what an absolute thriller of a game this was. Carlton versus Port Adelaide. It was a 3-point win to Port Adelaide. It was a seesawing affair, to say the least. The Blues showing their strength, but the Power ending up showing why they're the number one team. Well, they're first on the ladder. They just looked more mature in the dying stages, didn't they? And it came down to Robbie Gray on the siren who kicked the winning goal for them. And absolute scenes in front of minimal fans at the Gabba, but it was a great game. It was unbelievable to watch. Robbie Gray saving my tips, and that's why I got 9 out of 9 tips. If Robbie Gray didn't kick that goal, I would have got 8 out of 9. So thank you, Robbie Gray, you're my hero. But yeah, the Power just looked more mature in the last couple of minutes, the last couple of seconds. They couldn't find a goal, and I was worried that Robbie Gray was not going to kick this one, but he did on the siren, and the Power came out on top. Absolutely devastating for the Blues who tried their heart out, but you know, it is what it is. Next game we had the Hawks versus the D's at Giant Stadium, and it was all the Demons from this one. I told you in my tipping, they didn't even need to win by friggin' 8 points. They won by 43 points. I said I had a feeling that the D's would win this one, and I was correct. There you go. That's all I'm going to say for this one. I'm just kidding. The D's absolutely dominated this game. The Hawks, they're running out of legs. They are seriously running out of legs. Their speed is not there. Their just ball movement is not there anymore. Their exciting ball movement that used to be is not there anymore. They've got such experienced players, but those experienced players are just not running as hard as they should be, and they just got outdone by the pace of the D's on this day and the ball movement of the D's on this day. There were so many things on the day that just repeatedly happened, pretty much. There were so many plays that went out the back, and it kept happening, and the Hawks just couldn't control it. So yeah, props to the D's, 43-point winners over the Hawks, and 2 in a row for them. We move on to the Derby now, and we all saw this coming. We thought the Dockers would put on a fight. They did, but eventually it was the Eagles' maturity in the end. Josh Kennedy in his milestone game, winning the game for the Eagles. Well, not winning, they already had it won, but yeah, it was a 30-point win to the Eagles. Not the best Derby. It was a bit of a boring one, to be honest, but you know, the Eagles, 10 in a row for them now, 10 Derby wins in a row for them now. The Dockers, they tried their heart out, but without Nat Fyfe, it was a real struggle for them. That's like half their midfield gone, let's be real. But the Eagles sort of finding back form as well. The Tigers and the Eagles, they're finding back form. They're looking good, so it'll be a good game for them against Collingwood. A good test for them against Collingwood. It'll be a great game. I can't wait to watch it on Sunday with you guys. That's right, I'm doing a watch along of it, so make sure to be there. But yeah, it was the Eagles winning this game, and I think they're back in the top 8. Yep, directly on 8th spot. But there's so many teams that have pretty much equaled 8th spot as well, so it's going to be a very interesting finish to the year. The last game saw the Crows taking on the Saints at the Adelaide Oval. I watched this one, and it was one of those games where you could just see it happening. The Crows, they had so many opportunities to kick goals where they needed to, just couldn't find them. And then it was one of those games where one team would miss so many chances, and then the other team would go down to their end and just kick an easy goal in the goal square, and that's what happened some of the time. The Crows fans weren't happy with the free kicks, but they won the free kick count 29-19, so there's no argument there to be made. The Saints just really mature when they needed to be. They've won their first game at the Adelaide Oval now, which is good. The Crows, they're putting in a fight. We'll say that. They're one of those teams now that are just going to put in a fight. They'll win a game here and there, but they're just really battling. The Saints coming off a good response from last week's loss against the Dockers. They're back in the 8 now, the Saints. And they can look forward to next week, a big game against the Power at the Adelaide Oval. So if they can win that one, two in a row at the Adelaide Oval, not bad. And the Crows, well, they just need to find a win at this stage. I don't know where they're going to find it, but wherever they do, it's got to be soon. They have the Bombers next week at the Adelaide Oval. Oh, dearie God, that could be a massacre. But yeah, they got to try something. They showed some fight in this game, but just wasn't enough. The Saints just too good where they needed to be. And yeah, that's the round wraps up. Haha, jokes. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you for enjoying my content. Hopefully some of you can subscribe and we can get to the 100 subscriber mark. We're almost there. We're 8 subs away when I'm recording this. I've got some more content coming out for you guys this week, especially an AFL Evo 2 game between someone who you may know. So yeah, thanks guys for enjoying the content, and I'll see you soon.